Hello, how you guys all doing out there? Darren, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing, Joe?
Good, good. I'm on an adventure this week. I think I told you I'm off to Ventura to my first close to Grateful Dead concert. So that'll be my adventure. It's a
Right.
bunch of cover bands. They're there for 3 days. I'm only there for one, thank goodness. But yeah,
Mm.
there's one band in particular. So I have a love for Steely Dan. So what they did is they combined Steely Dan with Grateful Dead songs. And so they play in the same song, they'll play Steely Dan and then they'll go into a Grateful Dead song. So
Is
very,
that
very strange. Very strange.
is that Steely Dead or Grateful Dan, or how do
It's
you mix
no, you
those
got it
two?
right the first time. It's Steely Dead. Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
anyway, I'm sure I'll have some stories next week. But
Go.
guys, thanks for joining us once again. It's Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. It's valuable time, and we thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about real estate as usual. Always about a topic that we feel is important for this week, and then of course our seller wins, our buyer wins, and any other observations we might feel are important to you, buyers and sellers, and us as well, real estate agents. So thanks for joining us in our weekly meeting. Before I get too far into it, let me do our disclaimer. Darren Hubert and Joe Cloninger are real estate agents at Avenue 8 under the Urban Hillsides brand. All opinions expressed by Urban Hillsides or guests on the video are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Avenue 8. You should not treat any opinion expressed by Urban Hillsides as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a particular strategy, but only as an expression of Urban Hillsides team's opinions. This video is for informational purposes only. All right. So let's see here. We're going to talk about the bubble and what exactly that is. Darren, as I go find the article, do you want to kind of introduce it a bit?
Sure. So, what did we see this past week? Things ramped up a little bit. First off, the first trigger was interest rates ramping up. We ourselves had an escrow that was canceled, at least partially due to interest rate movement from an investor that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Um, that's the reality of a moving interest rate environment, particularly when it's moving to the north. So, what followed that, what preceded that, a topic that's been on people's mind, but we definitely saw a flood of articles this past week about bubbles. Where's the market heading? What's happening? And we've been covering a lot of who's in the market, why they're in the market, factors that can impact the market. Will now seem like as good as ever because it presented itself in the articles we're reading about like comparing how does this market compare to the most recent bubble that did happen. Is it a concern? If so, why? Or if not, why not? So
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're covering today.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yeah, definitely the media has been talking about a bubble and a crash and all these things. And I think they gloss over a lot of things. I'm sure there are many who hope this happens, buyers and others who've been predicting this for the last 10, 15 years. But we're going to get into it a little bit and let's decipher it and see what's really going on. So this comes from a Motley Fool service called The Ascent over at fool.com. And this is really kind of the signs that a housing market crash is coming. So again, entitled 4 Signs That a Housing Market Crash is Coming. Key points: anyone who claims to know exactly when the real estate bubble will burst is not being honest. Very true. The theory of supply and demand teaches us that once prices are too high, buyers will exit the market. At this point, it's impossible to check the news without reading that the housing market is about to crash. Oh, wait, the next news story says it's not likely to happen in 2022. The truth is this: no one knows for certain what's going to happen next in the housing market. The best we can do is look for signs. A crash or a popping bubble. Many people believe we are currently in a real estate bubble. One might define a real estate bubble as a period during which the following is true. There is greater demand for homes than the supply of homes on the market. Check. There is an unusual spike in the prices of homes. Check. More investors than average enter the market, hoping to flip houses and make a quick profit. Check. Buyers are willing to waive contingencies designed to protect their financial interests, like home inspections and appraisals. Check. As of this writing, home sellers are still in the driver's seat in most markets. Still, when you notice the following four things happen regularly, it's safe to believe a housing correction is not far behind. So what they've got here is number one, home prices soften. Granted, home prices continue to soar in most markets, but there are definite signs of softening in some areas. For example, home prices in Peoria, Illinois are down 1.8%, and in Gulfport, Mississippi, they're down nearly 5%. Beaumont, Texas has experienced an overall drop of around 1.4%, while Kansas City, Missouri prices are down 0.7%. It's not much at the moment, but it's a start and worth keeping an eye on. Yep. What are the prices of those homes in Peoria, Illinois?
I don't know.
Number two, inventory picks up. The true culprit when it comes to the current state of housing in the U.S. can be traced back to supply and demand. Supply and demand boils down to this. The less there is of something the consumers want, the more they're willing to pay for it. In the case of homes, the more they want it, the larger mortgage they're willing to take out. Back in 2020, when the U.S. began sheltering in place due to the pandemic, the initial school of thought was that sheltering would prevent people from buying homes. Instead, the opposite occurred. The housing market boomed as millennial buyers took advantage of lower rates, historic lower rates, to purchase their first homes. In fact, so many people wanted to buy property that the relative few on the market were snapped up amid bidding wars and shockingly high prices. As builders complete more new homes and the number of people selling their property increases, the uptick in supply can signal lower prices on the horizon. Once buyers are no longer caught up in bidding wars, cooler heads and prices will prevail. Number three, confidence declines. February Fannie Mae survey found that 70% of people consider now a bad time to buy a house. There is some old-fashioned reasoning behind this result. Only 43% of respondents expect home prices to increase over the next 12 months, while 58% expect mortgage rates to go up. Plus, 17% of those surveyed say they're concerned about losing their jobs. People who are concerned about the future are less likely to get into a bidding war over a house. Number four, rise in interest rates. Mortgage rates recently topped 4%. When was this written? While 4% is still remarkably low, rates are moving up, back to the theory of supply and demand. Eventually, high prices plus higher interest rates will reach a point that causes people to pull out of the market, softening home values. Given the number of experts claiming to know precisely when the housing bubble will burst, the old adage, even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, is fitting. After all, by sheer chance, some of them are bound to be right. So there you go.
So if you stick with one topic and don't change your mind, you will be right at some point. That's guaranteed. Okay. So for those of you who've been on this bandwagon for a long time, you're going to be right. I don't know if it's tomorrow or next year, but at some point you will be right. So don't shift now. That's my suggestion to you. A couple things to digest there. Yes, we got up into the mid fours for sure. Which was kind of scary this past week. I mean, it's the highest they'd been. I think the article I read was in 4 years. It's the highest rates we've seen.
Yep.
Supply and demand is still there, even though there might be fewer people who think there's a positive side to the market. I will say there are enough people to more than consume all of the inventory. So maybe those, I think it was the other 58% aren't rushing out to put their house on the market. Even if they don't think prices are going up, they're not trying to sell their house to then capture that. I think what the bubble even taught us, the bubble of 14 years ago, was that prices do recover eventually. And that for those who just kind of bailed on the market, it was a tough time, but those prices have obviously come back and well exceeded those numbers. So just like not owning a home, if you do own a home, probably isn't a great option. Okay. And if you have a long-term outlook on a purchase, yes, it's possible you might be buying at a more elevated moment. Possibility exists. Again,
right.
No one can confirm that one way or the other. But if you have a long-term perspective, most likely you're going to do just fine with housing and all the tax benefits that come along with it.
Right. So in answer to that first article, Darren, you pulled out this one. This is from calculatedrisk.substack.com. And it's trying to compare and contrast what this bubble is now versus our most recent memory, which is what you talked about there 14
Yep.
years ago. Housing. Don't compare the current housing boom to the bubble and bust. Look instead at the 1978 to 1982 period for lessons. So let me skip through this. It is natural to compare the current housing boom to the mid-aughts housing bubble. The bubble and subsequent bust are part of our collective memories, and graphs of nominal house prices and price to rent ratios look eerily similar to the housing bubble. However, there are significant differences. First, lending has been reasonably solid during the current boom, whereas in the mid zero zeros, underwriting standards were almost non-existent. Fog a mirror, get a loan. And demographics are much more favorable today than in the mid zero zeros. All right, compared to the 1978 to 1982 period instead. A much more similar period to today is the late 70s and early 80s. Housing prices were increasing sharply. Demographics were very favorable for home buying as the baby boomers moved into the first-time home buying age group, similar to the millennials now. And
Right.
inflation picked up from an already elevated level due to the second oil embargo in 1979, followed by the Iran-Iraq war in 1980, driving up costs. Okay. In 79, the Volcker Fed responded by raising rates, and combined with inflation, this pushed up mortgage rates sharply. Now the Powell Fed is embarking on a tightening cycle, and mortgage rates have already increased significantly. For review, here's a graph of expenditures on energy goods and services as a percent of total personal consumption expenditures through February 2022. So I think we can skip over this.
Right.
Go ahead.
And I think the primary component of that, the article already addressed. There's definitely more details in here and good things to chat about, but it is an inflationary environment, and there is the demographics are that there's just a huge supplies or demand side as there was then. And obviously, if you play that out, there was a big bump in the late 80s where rates got super high, 17, 18%. But yet again, by the late 90s, and that's a decade later, prices had fully recovered. And during that whole 10-year period, even if someone didn't have all the equity they want in their house or didn't gain the appreciation, they still acquired all the tax benefits of home ownership during that time while having a place to live. And while rents rise, your mortgage payment did not change. All the benefits of being in housing.
So by the time he gets through all these graphs, he writes, what does this suggest for housing now? Some of the factors are different today. Inflation was much more embedded in 1979 than today, and the oil shock exacerbated that situation. That meant heavy lifting for the Volcker Fed, and I believe for sale inventory today, especially for existing homes, is much lower than in 1979. Unfortunately, I do not have the existing home inventory data for that period. However, we should expect something similar to what happened in the late 70s. A decline in real house prices seems likely, and I also expect some decline in housing starts and new home sales. With solid lending, the nominal prices should be sticky downwards, and I don't expect national declines in nominal prices. The size of the declines in new home sales and housing starts will depend on how much inflation is embedded, and therefore how much the Fed will have to raise rates and reduce their balance sheet to control inflation. If a large portion of inflation is transitory, the impact on housing will be minimal. However, if the Fed has to raise rates significantly, then we would expect a larger impact. Currently, we have just to watch and wait. However, we can be fairly confident that we won't see cascading nominal price declines like during the housing bust, since there will be few distressed sales. I will write much more on why we should be looking to the late 70s period for lessons as opposed to the housing bubble. Okay, so to be continued again.
Right. Good article.
Yeah. So some slippage, but it'll be far more stable, is what it's saying.
Right. And the first article talked about some locations that don't relate to us. They're certainly not big, huge cities that we're in. But I will say this: if there's something I learned, that there are components to watch for, and even those singular components aren't absolutes. But you'll see things like the building, the building will slow. New homes will slow before
Hmm.
resale will slow. But those people are heavily engaged, high volume risk compared to the individual seller and buyer, and
Hmm.
they have a tendency to be more conservative and pull back first. So you're watching new home sales; those are still moving forward, at least in the city we're in.
Right.
The other component where people might pull back a little sooner in the past, maybe some of the shifts in and working dynamics will adjust this, but it typically slows down in the suburbs before it does in the city. And we serve city and a little bit of suburbs, but watch those trends as well. The
Well, I
city,
know, I know one thing that you talk about, and it's a similar effect. But yeah, right. If you look towards the valley, more suburban, you might see early signs there,
early
right?
signs.
Even here in LA. So,
Yeah. But the question is, this
mhm.
is this is a new phenomenon we're dealing with that historically nobody has ever dealt with. The work from home dynamic, is
Yeah,
that really taking hold?
yeah,
That's had an impact in the last 2 years because of COVID on the the pricing in those suburban communities and rural communities. It's moved them up at an even higher rate than inner cities.
yeah.
So historically, that's what's happened. So it's worth watching, but I'd be curious to see if that trend holds true in this
Yeah.
cycle.
And as you're saying, back to history again, there's a part of the world that's in a big war, and we have no idea where that's
Right.
going to go.
Well, that last article was talking about oil and inflation. I mean, we're dealing with both of those components right now,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
nobody knows exactly where they're going to end up, but they're both on the table.
Right. It's funny. We've been working with a client that's looking in Palm Springs, and some of the conversations I've had with agents out there in Palm Springs, at least to give some signs of what you're talking about in terms of work from home. There was an agent who most of his business is referral because he was like 18 years in San Francisco and he decided to downshift, change his own life, move to Palm Springs with his partner. Uh, but he said that's all his business, and he's busy, and they're moving, and they're working definitely far from their usual home. Uh,
Right.
and a lot of Los Angeles people, again, yeah, are in Palm Springs. So,
Right. And the client you're talking about, it's a similar dynamic. Why do I
gosh,
need to
yeah,
be in the city and pay so much?
yeah,
If I can be close enough and come into the city when I need to.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's real.
All right. Well, look, guys, we are going to go to our next segment, and that segment is about what we feel are buyer and seller wins. Starting with seller wins, let's see here. Go to my seller wins. The first one, Darren, I think you pointed this one out before. This was 1727 Hill Drive. It started at 2,895,000 and it landed at $3,501,727 for a crazy increase of 606,727. Inflation in action. There we go.
Yeah, it's
So,
one of those that we said is going to go up tremendously when it listed.
yeah,
But 3.5 million is a big number for that neighborhood for sure.
yeah,
It is a 4,000 square foot house, has a pool, has a guest suite,
seven
has
beds.
lots.
Yeah, five baths.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
4,000
So
square feet.
you understand, but it's still 3.5 million on that
Yeah,
street, which is a
yeah.
big number. So
So,
congrats.
yeah, 1727 Hill Drive, seven beds, five baths, 3,979 square feet of living space. 3.5 million, as Darren said. Lot size was nice, Darren. It's 15,064. 15 days on the market. And this is brought to us by Shelley Aronson over at Sotheby's and Valeria Leninger. And on the buy side, John Barclift over at Wilshire Real Estate helped the buyer. So, yeah, pretty perfect looking house altogether. Um,
Yeah, I wonder when we start setting these new records on numbers,
mhm.
what the trend has been. People even then we talk about people shifting from urban to suburban and even further out, but the trend has been in a very quick upcycled market is that people from the west side are like, oh, forget it. I can't get what I need for 4 million here. Look what I can get over in this area of northeast Los Angeles for three and a
Right.
half.
I'm not fighting traffic. I won't be fighting traffic. I won't have a
Right.
commute. It's
Right.
worth it. Yeah. Yeah.
So you start questioning, I see agents that aren't local agents, and it doesn't mean it's an out of area buyer, but it's definitely a common situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Good observation. Okay. Let's take a look at the next one. We are going to go to 1419 Allison Avenue. Let's see if I can get there. Let's see. There we go. And 1419 Allison Avenue started at 1,099,000, landed at a final price of 1,650,000 for a $551,000 increase. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so I think we noted this one too. Let's see.
It looks good. I love seeing these houses with the yards done. Gosh, looks like it has a 5-car garage. That's
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
I thought
Well,
it was an
that can
apartment when I saw that.
sure that could become an ADU. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe it is an apartment, Joe. It's not always. Although it's only 1,288 square feet. Uh,
there's extra space there somewhere. Yeah.
for sure.
Well, 1419 Allison Avenue, it is Silver Lake Echo Park area. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,288 square feet of living, sold for 1,650,000, 7,000 square foot lot. Yeah, that looks like a different kitchen, huh? Let's see here. Days on market 13. And this is brought to us by Berenice Sue, Homebridge Real Estate. And on the buy side, Christopher Corzo represented his buyer. He's from Rodeo Realty. So pretty much a flip, huh? With some alterations, I see, like a toilet in the middle of a hallway.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reasonable price for that area of Angelino Heights.
Wow.
Um,
Look at that garage, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's huge. That can definitely become an ADU or a huge workshop. These on some of these houses, when maybe the square footage compared to the sale price don't quite make it, there are these bonus spaces that are very. There's a lot of creative work from home people, and even more now than ever before. That
Yeah.
you could have studio plus parking in that space, which is
5-car
phenomenal.
garage. Yeah.
Yeah,
Use this space as a multiple car garage, home, gym, or take a step further by adding units as the property zoning allows for further expansion.
yeah.
All right.
Well, plus a 700 square foot basement on top of that, right?
Good
So
deal.
your
Good
square
deal.
footage is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well done. All right. Next one is, let's take a look. We are going to 4807 Frida Drive. This started at 1,395,000 and it landed at 1,851,000 for a $456,000 increase. Oops, that's not it.
Right, decent sized structure, pool, views.
Right, Glassell Park. I think this is it's a nice house. I get it, totally get it. Okay. Okay, so, oops, yeah, there it goes. 4807 Frida Drive, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, 1,738 square feet of living space, sold for 1,851,000. It's on a 5,000 square foot lot. A lot of outdoor space. That's very nice. Took 14 days on the market. And this is brought to us by Gina Isaac at Normand and Associates. And on the buy side, Colin Delaney, Gatehouse Properties out of the 714. So,
Yeah, it shows well. It looks kind of simple from the street.
mhm.
It looks much larger from the back. It's got some nice patios. They took the time to put in a pool, which isn't cheap on Hillside there. Staged well. Looks great.
Yeah, it really does have all the elements. Style wise, you might have some differences, but yeah, view, space, pretty much remodeled, and a pool. Wow, on a hillside. Okay,
Yeah.
next we have uh, Oh, I think you noted this one. 843 Tipton Terrace.
Yeah.
The price started at 2,299,000 and finished at $2,710,843 for a $411,843 increase. Let's take a
This is a very
Oh, this
emotional property.
I remember this one. Yeah, this has two houses actually.
Yeah.
All right. 843 Tipton Terrace, 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 2,998 square feet, 2,710,843 on an 18,749 square foot lot. 13 days on the market. Brought to us by Natalie Stern Traben at Compass and on the buy side Amanda Lee Weir at Gold Star Realty. So yeah, this was an odd bird when we saw it before. Yeah.
Yeah, two completely different structures. You have a nice Spanish and a nice Craftsman. Both restored, both very clean, both super charming. It really looks like two separate houses. You might not even feel like you have a duplex here.
Yeah, I didn't look, but yeah, I do wonder if there's a street below because it is that way. There's an upper and there's a lower.
Yeah,
Maybe you don't even see the other.
right, right. Yeah, beautiful space.
Right. Okay. We are going to switch to buyer wins. Let me do this. Let's see. Buyer wins. Okay. So we're going to start at 230 South Avenue 52. This started at a list of 1,125,000 and 1,150,000 was the final price. So only a $25,000 increase. It's nice to see that. Okay.
Yeah, so the obvious no staging. Uh, it looks like it has some in good shape, good curb appeal. It was flipped, but it looks like a flip. Um, yeah, some of the finishes are flipper like.
Right. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,349 square feet of living space, 1,150,000, 4,400 square foot lot, 8 days on the market to sell. Carlos Torres at Smart Equity Realty was the listing agent, and our good friend Kenya Reeves Costa was on the buy side representing the buyer over at Compass.
It also
Yeah,
looks like little to no effort on landscaping, and it looks like a lot of concrete in the backyard, and those, those elements are huge
yeah,
for
yeah,
people who really want their home to be their sanctuary.
yeah. It's true. At least by an 818 number, I don't know how much Carlos really knew the area, but we certainly know Kenya knows the area, and
Yes.
she found a value. So good for her. All right. Next, we're going off to let's see, going off to 4430 Portola Avenue. This listed at 905,000 and sold at 905,000. So I definitely see, Darren, in the last couple weeks on the buyer wins, certainly a pattern going towards buyers, at least in the things that we're seeing.
Yeah. I don't know that I would say it's moving in that direction. I think
Yeah.
it still
Yeah.
favors sellers, but it's not favoring sellers as much.
Yeah.
So,
44.
yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say 4430 Portola Avenue. This is El Sereno. I think the last one was El Sereno. I didn't say that. 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 952 square feet of living space, 905,000, 6,300 square foot lot, and 20 days on the market to sell. Brought to us by Natalie Terequez, SGE Realty, and on the buy side, Natalie Terequez, SGE Realty. So again, kind of flipper like, right? But somebody lived here. It looks
Oh,
like.
for sure. It's
Yeah.
occupied. Yeah, I don't sense it was flipped.
Really like that patio in the back. That
It's a
porch.
pool house. Yeah, it's a big patio. I do think there was some good value here that somebody got.
Um, Next one on the list is 5306 Oakland Street, listed at $1,100,000, and I think again ended at $1,100,000. Uh, so strange. Oh yeah, this was the strange one. So um, I'm not sure if this listing agent got rid of some photos, but all he has, he didn't really show the house. He had some
Oh,
great
it's
drone
serious.
shots. 5306 Oakland Street, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,400 square feet of living space that we don't see. 1,100,000. Again, we're in El Sereno, so good value there still, it looks like. 7,000 square foot lot and 7 days on the market. Brought to us by Kevin Danialifar. And and Kevin Danialifar
Mm.
out of Keller Williams, Beverly Hills. So congrats to him on double ending that. But yeah, we don't really know what the house looks like. Hard to tell.
Joe, I see one going here from 998 to 800. Am I reading that wrong? That's a real savings there. On Hellman, 3734 Hellman Avenue.
I'm trying to remember this one. Let's see. This one, so yeah, right. Somebody got impatient. Let's see. 3734 Hellman, again, El Sereno. Ooh. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,496 square feet of living space. Sold price 800,000. 7,400 square foot lot. Let's see if I can get these photos up. This took 40 days on the market to sell. This is brought to us by Raymond Swearingen at MWD Associates out of the 909, and Lily Campbell, First Team Real Estate out of the 714. So both out of area. Maybe that's why it took longer than normal. Yeah, gosh, man.
Cool. It's kind of cool to see something that for give buyers some hope here. That's a big drop.
I think it was the usual. It wasn't staged, wasn't presented very well.
Yes.
Let's see if I can get to. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was a trust sale or let's see. No. Whatever the case, somebody got a great deal.
Yeah.
Shown by appointment. Yeah, shown by appointment. That'll slow it down a bit too. All right. Well, obviously, we all need to go to El Sereno. All right. Next, we have actives that Darren feels are noteworthy. So let me go there. So I think, at least what I'm looking at, it's reading from the last 7 days. I gave you the last 6 days in that report, but we've got it all here, man. Just
so yeah, and I think we had 26 solds or 24 solds.
Yeah.
And on the 6 days, then I have 35. So it was definitely a little bit of an inventory increase this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seemed this week like there was more stuff coming on the market. So yeah. All right. 2112 Echo Park Ave. I think it was sold about 2 years ago. Um,
2. There it is. Okay.
Cute house, small lot, but great neighborhood, right next to Ladybird Cafe. So you will get some of that activity.
Oh, it's on the other side, right? Echo Park side. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 bedroom, 1 bath, 884 square feet, 2112 Echo Park Avenue, 999,000. But yeah, it looks clean. Small lot, 2,800 square foot lot. Days on market so far 5. And this is brought to us by Seta Turbajian. We know Seta Turbajian. Just
We
recently.
do. We were in escrow with her. Yes, we
Yeah,
were.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Well, there's a good deal.
Yeah, no, it just wasn't a good match in the end, unfortunately. Um, all right. Well, I want to see what you get for 4.5 million. Let's look at 5531 Red Oak. Similar square footage as that Hill Drive. It just sold for 3.5 million.
5531 Red Oak Drive. This is Los Feliz. It's more towards the Hollywood Hills side. 4 bedroom, 6 bath, excuse me. 3,960 square feet of living space, 4,599,000, and 7,200 square foot lot. So not a big lot for that big house. Days on market so far 5. And this is brought to us by Bennett Hirsch at the agency and also Nicholas Sandler at the agency. So, well, very stylish, very tasteful.
Yeah, not the best photos for a $4.5 million house, in my opinion. And I think I'd rather take the one on Hill Drive.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right.
but
With what, 15, 18,000 square feet of
right,
lot. Yeah.
bigger pool, detached unit. Yeah, that's my opinion, obviously. So cool. That's why we're hosting the show, to share our opinions.
Yeah.
So um, there's a good amount of homes under $1 million on this go round as well.
Do
So
that theme? You can do that theme.
yeah, there's some good ones. 5193 Ellenwood Drive up in Eagle Rock.
5193. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, that's pretty. Sure. Let's take a look. All right, 5193 Ellenwood Drive. This is Eagle Rock, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,044 square feet of living space with an orange door. 995,000 is the list. It's on a 6,600 square foot lot. 5 days on the market so far. Brought to us by Cindy Lorimer, Corcoran Global.
Right? Great house. Yeah, for sure. Um,
Danger
let's
went a
go.
little nuts, but good for them.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff
Lots
going
of
on.
colors. Yeah. 4864 La Rota, also up in Eagle Rock.
Get over it. See the address number again?
4864.
Okay, there it is. Or 864 Larota Avenue. This is Eagle Rock again. It is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 912 square feet, 929,000 list price, 4,800 square feet, of lot. Opens are starting 4/7. What is that? That's Thursday, 11 to 1. And then 4/9, that is Saturday, 2 to 4. This is brought to us by Eva Rose Burgess and Tracy Doe over at Compass. And kind of the status quo here. Clean,
Yeah,
painted white.
not super exciting on this
No,
one.
no.
Not a lot of color, not a lot of vibrant staging, but looks like a solid house
Getting it done.
and
Exactly.
priced appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Let's see here. Mount Washington Drive, 202. Mount Washington Drive, 975. A very not so attractive house from the curb appeal. Sorry if I'm offending someone. Uh,
Yeah.
not very well staged, but it's a decent size house at a good price on a street to street lot. And in that neighborhood, there's real value there. You could certainly build another structure at the top of the lot.
Let's see, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,000 square feet, 975, 7,500 square foot lot. That's nice. But you said it's a hill, eh? Just a little bit of a hill.
Yep.
Days on market 5. Um, Adela Ramirez, EXP Realty, 951.
I was talking to someone about this house specifically. What's interesting to me is that people will see value in a house that needs work. Um, a house like this, if you really want charm, it's very hard to shift people's mindset into deconstructing. Right? It's easy to look at something that's worn and say, "Great, I can strip that and replace it." But if something's been replaced that isn't the materials of choice, it's hard for some people to say, "Yeah, I can just get rid of that functional thing that is not attractive to me and replace it with something that is." It's just the mind is skewed.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
hard.
to me looks like a very solid house. With some other opportunities if it's a good match, but you've got to deconstruct it to bring charm back in.
Yep, yep. You got to edit.
Yeah,
Yeah, and as you're saying, definitely potential on the top side with street entry on the other side. If they got ambitious. So yeah, good
yeah.
deal. All
All
right.
right. I thought, I think this last one, I didn't look at the street location, but 281 East Avenue 33 looks super charming and eclectic. Very
Say the
eclectic.
numbers again. 281.
281. So this is over in Lincoln Heights. Yeah, off of Griffin. That's where I thought it might be. Close to Montecito Heights, uh, close to Cypress Park.
Charming. 281 East Avenue 33. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. This is Lincoln Heights. 1,359 square feet of living space. Nice hillside view there. Listing at 749,000. Yes. Almost 6,000 square feet of lot. And it will be open on Thursday, 11 to 2, 4/7. It's been 5 days on the market. And Brian V. Moore and Alicia Lahone of Sotheby's is representing the seller.
Sure. Built in 1895.
Wow.
Yeah, both of those agents have been around for quite some time. This will be a very active open house this weekend. It's very well priced.
A little cluttery, but like you said, right? You got to deconstruct and find the charm. Whoa.
It's got plenty of charm.
Yeah.
Maybe simplifying a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Okay. I wonder if that's the lowest priced home this week.
It's a finished home at that square footage. It is
Mhm.
within our general parameters. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's one on Latrobe, Darren. I don't know if you want to relive that.
Sure. Go ahead.
So this is, let's see. Many a time I have walked by this house and left paraphernalia, collateral, and the neighbor got it. This is 3822 Latrobe Street. It's Montecito Heights. It's 2 bedroom, 2 baths, 1,296 square feet. Listing at $1,195,000. It is on a 4,700 square foot lot. And let's see, 6 days on the market so far, and brought to us by William Baker at the agency.
Used to live
Former
on Latrobe.
neighbor.
Yeah,
right.
it's a hard one.
Hard to beat that one.
I didn't see that one. That must have been just come out then.
Yeah,
Maybe at least it's not in the group you sent me. I'm trying to look at the front. I didn't see the front.
It's kind of like diagonal from the one that we sold, 3825.
Got it.
Right around. But yeah, good looking house. Not much to say about it.
There's still value in that neighborhood. Yeah, I don't know why. It certainly caught up a little more in this last cycle, value wise, but it's a unique place. It really is. Neighbors are pretty close, and oh yeah, okay, I see the front now. I recognize it. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good price. A lot of house for that price.
And great neighborhood, great neighbors, really good people up there. For sure.
Very, very nice pocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Uh, anything else catch your eye, Darren?
No, I think we're good. I was thinking maybe next time we'll do top three, top boom, cut us down a little bit. It'd be all right. We can review
I
other
like our
things.
flow, man. We kind of got this figured out
Yeah,
now.
it's working.
Yeah,
I get it.
we're pros, it seems, almost.
Yeah.
Better real estate agents than
Which means it's time to
live
change,
streams.
right?
Feeling comfortable. You're right. Right.
Yeah.
I have been thinking of doing some some editing for video, changing music, some things like that. So yeah, that might be coming up for sure.
Sure. Cool, man.
Well, look, guys, just have a great week. We're going to have a great week. We do have, forgot, Darren,
Yeah.
a new listing coming up, Mount Washington. It's a little hush hush now, but look out for Thursday or Friday. We will be on the market. Darren, what can you say about it?
Well, it was a house that had some deconstruction happen to it. There
Good
was
point.
there was some vision there. They saw the vision,
Right.
and they helped bring out the best that the house could be, in my opinion. So it's charming. It's going to present well. It shows as a 3-2 with a detached garage.
Darren, just to emphasize what you just said about deconstructing, I saw an old listing picture of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wow, man, they did a lot of deconstructing, and they did a good job with what they had and the budget they had. It was their first house, so
Yes.
kudos to them, really.
Yeah.
Pretty ugly house. It's charming now.
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting when somebody in going through that as they've done the whole process of becoming connected to that space. And I experienced that this morning as a seller handed me his keys and walked out of the house. Like, I've been in this house for 20 years,
Yeah.
These people have been there for 4 or 5 years. And you leave a lot on the table, that you time and energy that you put into that space. And we usually say, well, look, the memories don't go away, and you will recreate that in your new spaces. But it's a part of the field that I like very much, is the passion that connects people to architecture and to the spaces they live in. It's pretty awesome to be a part of it.
Well, let's leave it at that, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday, 2 p.m. I'll have at least a couple Grateful Dead stories for you by then. Have a good one. Take care.
Bye.